now's the time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there. And we've got to lead it.
True internet suffered depression.
You are fake news.
I am not suicidal.
We'll circle back with you directly. If I can circle back, I'll circle back with you.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Hello and welcome to episode 291 of the Jeffrey and Brian Show. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Brian.
And we're just two guys drinking some beers, talking about what's going on. Brian, I actually intended to get some time this past week to record a new intro. And I was like, oh, I have tons of time. You know, all this stuff's going on. And then I realized my mother-in-law was moving into my house. And then like 4 days later, my father, my brother, his wife, and his kids are showing up to my house. So I spent my time cleaning up and polishing my house cleaner than a porn star's butthole.
Is it going to pass your dad's inspection?
Oh, well, he's already been through the house. I thought they were going to be here for like a week. Nah, he came by for like 3 hours in the RV and just rolled out to the next part of West Virginia. I was like, motherfucker, I planned like I took a whole week and cleared my schedule, you know, but you know, I get it. He's hoping to see more of West Virginia than just my house, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, let's get into this shit here. Diddy was found not guilty on most charges, or the most serious charges anyway.
He was found guilty on a prostitution charge.
That was it?
Yeah.
All right. Racketeering and sex trafficking, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to remain in jail until sentencing, it says, but I thought for some reason he was already out.
I bet it's time served.
Well, yeah, he's a famous rich man, of course, dude. We have to set an example that's okay.
Big fine and time served.
Yeah, just like when Lori Loughlin got busted bribing people to get her kids into college, and her fine was less than the bribe she paid out. And it's like, oh, I see how this works. Okay. This is something we talked about last episode. The rising gas prices in California. Now the lawmakers out there are scrambling to try to find a way to fix this. But as we said, many people are saying this is a problem you guys created with all your ridiculous rules and regulations and taxes on it. And
now the oil refineries are leaving town.
2 of them are packed up and rolled out. Sheesh. That's a lot of money that could be made somewhere else besides California, you know?
Yep.
And remember Kathy Griffin? You remember her at all anyway?
Oh, yeah. She's a controversial quasi-comedian.
Yeah. Well, she has come out and posted a picture again with a bunch of different billionaires' severed heads again, not just Trump this time. And oh my God, have you seen a picture of her lately?
Oh yeah, she doesn't look that good. Huh?
It is terrifying. I don't know what you just did. I thought you just deleted the whole Google Doc.
No, somehow if I close follow up, it closes everything.
Well, that's different. I don't know. I wonder if I have it. Oh, it's because it's a different heading. That's why. And that'll fix that problem for us. All right. Well, check this out. Michael Madsen. He was one of the dudes in Kill Bill. He was also
a lot of stuff.
Well, my favorite movie he did was Reservoir Dogs. He was the guy who cut the other dude's ear off.
Yeah.
He died at 67 years old. Julian McMahon. You might remember him from Nip Tuck or
sure
Fantastic
do. I watched
Four.
that series, yep. And Fantastic Four.
I did not watch Nip Tuck. I heard great things about it, though. But back in the day, I did watch Charmed. And he was the demon Balthazar.
Okay.
I'm sad I know his name because most of the time I watch Charmed on mute. Because they're just beautiful women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd been battling with cancer for years, I guess. And he died at 56, so.
Yeah. And I don't know how well your hockey knowledge is for the Boston Bruins, but LB, Lyndon Byron, he was the enforcer on the Bruins when Cam Neely used to play, has also died in his 60s, like 61. He was dealing with a whole slew of the health issues, though. So here's hoping that's the 3 that die
Yeah,
They
for
say
the
it comes
time
in
being.
threes. They say it comes in threes, but a whole bunch of people died this week.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh, we certainly will. So, are you going to join the America Party?
Not likely.
No. I'm going to at least hear what they have to say and what their opinion is, because it might be fun.
The
I
pundits are saying that they believe the party is targeting libertarians.
That's what it looks like in general. Quit spending my money and quit telling me what to do, right?
Hmm.
Exactly. That's why I was like, I'll at least look at it from what I've seen so far. So I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe this is a party that I'll fit into, but in general, I don't like the idea.
Of
Of
parties in
course,
general.
of course, the left has gone so fucking nuts lately, dude, that I'm considering actually registering Republican and just giving in. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's
Well, then I'll at least get to vote in a primary, you know?
hmm.
Uh, okay, so this snuck up on me. I didn't hear about Alligator Alcatraz till like a week
I didn't
before it
either.
opened up. I don't know how I missed this, and I listened to everything out there. I mean, what Plain Buck didn't mention it until recently, probably.
No, they didn't.
No Agenda guys probably didn't mention it.
No.
I know the guys I follow, no one mentioned it until it was about to open. I was like, what the hell is Alligator Alcatraz?
Hmm. Well, I mean, it's a lot cheaper to open that up than refit Alcatraz to house people.
True,
So
true, but isn't the max capacity like 3,000 people?
yeah,
Uh,
but I mean, that's
it's only
fine.
for it's only for illegal immigrants, though. It's not for convicted felons or
Yeah,
anything like that.
right.
I just thought it was hilarious. There was so many funny memes out there, like
Hmm.
when they're like picking up alligators from like guys' backyards in Florida. They're like the first round draft pick for Alligator Alcatraz. I was like, that's good. That's quality. And everyone's flipping out over it. I'm like, why? Just like, well, it's full of alligators. Like, there's not alligators in the freaking in the detention
Right.
center, dude. If you try to run away, you got to deal with the gators in. They built it in the Everglades, right?
Yeah, that's why it's Alligator Alley.
Oh my god! I was like, why hasn't Florida done this before anyway for the most dangerous criminals? But I think it's hilarious. It makes for some good jokes.
Yep,
A lot of
definitely.
people are offended
And
by it.
and this was money that they diverted from paying for all the hotels in New York City. They used money that was being spent on hotels in New York City for the immigrant housing and other cities, I'm sure, and paid for
Also,
Alligator Alley with it.
so instead, we'll just send him down to this detention center instead of putting him up in a nice
Yeah,
hotel. Oh,
yeah.
I guess that makes perfect sense.
And some people said, well, right now there's zero people coming across the border, so this may not be needed that much. But
Well, if you catch him coming across the border, you don't need to detain him. You can just turn him around.
yeah,
These places are for folks that have been here for a little while and they have to go through their whole process of deportation when they go through their appeal saying, oh, no, you can't send me home because it's dangerous.
right.
Uh, Trump's mega bill got passed. It slid
It
through.
passed. It passed a lot faster than I expected to. I figured that the House was going to try to change what the Senate did, and it was just going to be a shit show and drag it out for a while. But they went with whatever the Senate agreed with, which is unusual. And everybody's
Yeah.
freaking out about it, saying there's cuts, cuts, cuts. People are going to get kicked off of Medicaid, and
Yeah,
the
non-citizens and
the
people
end of the
scamming the
world
system.
is coming. You got to work. You got to work, volunteer, or go to school a certain amount of time now if you're a certain age.
Yeah, if you're 22 years old and you're not handicapped, we're not just going to pay for your health care. You can go get a freaking job, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or volunteer.
Yeah. I'm cool with that too. But, you got, what's her name there? The Massachusetts woman there, Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren is like, oh, 17 million people are going to lose their health care. It's like, yeah, but they're not citizens or like, these are criminals or lazy people who are bilking the system or just not even Americans. Why are we paying for their health care?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I will say though about this bill, he did put in only 9% of your gambling losses, or I'm sorry, wagering losses can be written off on your taxes,
Yeah.
which I know a lot of Republicans that good gambling's, degenerate. How many of those people have a fantasy football team or fantasy whatever team they do through their phone?
Probably
And
all of
now
them.
a lot of people, and now these companies are going to automatically send it off to the IRS, and you're going to get handed a bill at the end of the year. And this counts for like golf tournaments. You join a golf tournament with a prize that you have to
Mhm.
pay to get in.
Yeah.
Now you owe taxes for just entering the tournament. This will, obviously horse racing like the Kentucky Derby. I'm surprised the Nevada legislators didn't raise a shitstorm over this. Because, like, think of the World Series of Poker. People are flying from all over the world paying $10,000 to enter. And now they can't write off their business expenses to get there because this is their career.
Hmm.
But
I'm sure there's still a way to write those off because if it's their business, then there's probably a way to write it off.
it's tough to do with a 1099 versus a W-2.
It's a lot easier with 1099. I'm a
Look,
1099 guy.
that's okay. Yes, you're right. You can lie on your taxes. You're right. Uh, this did also take off the tax stamps on most NFA items to include suppressors and short barrel rifles, which means that you and I can easily get our hands on these things without having to jump through a million hoops. And this may effectively be the end of the NFA, the NRA, and the UCCA or USCCA, and like all these gun groups are coming together to sue to throw out the entire NFA now
Hmm.
because the whole point of the NFA was taxes to keep things in check. You're not allowed to do this because that's unconstitutional.
Right.
Should be interesting to see what that rolls out to in the long run. Now, the Dems were losing their shit over how much more spending this bill is that Trump signed, right?
Yeah.
Which I want to say first, was it 100 billion something went to ICE? So like
Yeah.
once that problem gets handled, that this is a one-time expense, not a year-over-year expense.
Yeah.
But now they're shitting their pants, screaming that they're going to shut the government down next chance they get if the government passes this $9.4 billion rescission, basically cutting $9.4 billion out of the budget. It's like, so
That
what? Are
probably
you?
needs to be done though.
It's like you're upset they're spending too much, and now you're upset that they're cutting. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like
Yeah.
they don't give a shit what's going on. They only care that Trump had something to do with it. And this just goes to prove that. Like they have
Hmm.
no
They're
idea
not
what they're even
happy.
arguing about. Yeah,
No.
it's I hate Trump. That's all there is to it. All right. Well, here in West Virginia, we have these almost heaven swings that the state put in. And they put them in like these real scenic lookout areas over like waterfalls and mountains.
Yeah.
They just put in 5 more to include one here in my county of Webster Springs. I'm sorry, Webster County. Um, I'm pretty stoked about this. These are cool. It brings in a lot of tourism. Way more tourism than I would have thought in West Virginia, honestly. And I understand why, but I don't know. I always picture people going to like Vermont, not West Virginia for the same type of stuff. We
Hmm.
get Quebecers coming down here.
Nice.
Yeah. And our governor gave a 4-day weekend to employees for the 4th of July. So good for him, I guess, and good for everybody who got an extra paid day off, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
What's up with this coupon scheme? Didn't we already mention one of these in Virginia?
I don't know.
No? All right.
Probably. Yeah. Well,
Well,
apparently, this woman that had this woman pleads guilty to roles in the multi-million-dollar Virginia Beach coupon fraud scam. 2 women
yeah.
were involved in it,
I'm still
and
not sure how these frauds work with coupons,
I
but
don't either. I mean,
some of these extreme coupons get kind of crazy.
yeah, she's getting a 12-year sentence. Well, the 5
Ooh,
people that purchased the counterfeit coupons from her were also arrested several months ago. So,
she was printing fake coupons. Oh my. All right, yeah, that'll do
$31
it.
million coupon scheme one of the largest schemes ever found in the country.
That's crazy, dude.
Her
I mean,
actions caused loss of retailers of over $600,000.
yeah, and then you complain about prices moving around, going up a little bit, and it's crap like this, you know. Well, anyway, the fourth was over the weekend. It was Friday, right?
Yes.
You blow anything up?
No, I watched the fireworks from the boat.
Hey, I don't recall. Can you buy like real fireworks in
No,
Virginia?
no, you can't.
That's too bad. I can get mortars out here. Like the
Nope.
boom.
No, that's a South Carolina and South thing, not Virginia.
All right. Uh, well, there were a lot of protests over the fourth, and Los Angeles even canceled it. And it's like, you hate Trump so much, you're gonna hate the whole country.
Well, it
Uh,
wasn't a lot of the left wasn't even calling it the 4th of July. They were calling it No King Day or something like that.
yeah, yeah. Um, all right. I see you're no kings, and I raise you no queens. So RuPaul, your call.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, New York, in New York City, they had people burning the flag. And this is what gets me. A lot of these folks were waving like foreign flags, like the Mexican flag. Like
Uh-huh.
if you hate this country and you love the country you came from,
Go
why did you
back.
come here? Yeah,
Yeah. Go on back.
it's that easy. But people are dumb. Hold up. This is the one I want to open up because there's some Twitter stuff in here. Of course, these things always open so fast when I'm upstairs freaking putting it together. I come down here to open an article, it takes forever.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck the fourth. We need a new flag. They were chanting in Washington Square Park in New York, burning the flag. And there was they were actually encouraging people to steal flags and burn them. And all I could think of were those kids in Seattle that stole a pride flag and destroyed it, like ripped it up, and they
Right.
got hit with a hate crime. I was like, I think at worst, maybe they should have to replace the flag. But these folks did the same thing, but it was an American flag. It's like, oh, that's your right. I'm like, no, first of all, no, no, you can't go out in the middle of the road and set shit on fire, period. Okay. If it's your own property, on your own property, that's one thing, but
Right.
you're stealing other people's stuff and lighting them on fire in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
This is against the law.
Yep.
Uh yeah, they were geez. They were protesting in front of a federal courthouse, screaming and all that stuff. I just it Gesundheit. Uh oh, here we go. Yeah, it was from Andy No, I saw it. An anarchist blog uh call for people to steal the flags. They steal American flags, Trump flags, Blue Lives Matter flags, or any pro law enforcement flag. And they said they were stealing it not just from people, but like from stores and stuff. And they said that stealing from private or government property is preferred. And there was even like a hashtag they shared out on these social media platforms, and nobody shut it down. Yeah, ridiculousness. Phew. Big flood in Texas, dude.
Oh yeah.
What do they say? The river rose 24 feet in an hour and a half at 3 in the morning.
Yep.
And I have not seen a decent response from the federal government to help out. But realistically, we haven't seen a good response from the federal government to help out after any natural disaster lately.
Right.
But there's over 100 dead and over 100, at least 161 missing. Um, Actually, last count I got was 107 dead, and that was as of 7.5 hours ago. Have you seen the garbage on social media concerning this flood?
No, I'm not paying any attention to it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's horrific, dude. A lot of people getting pissed off at what people are saying now. Like this person who used to be worked for the mayor got fired over their inappropriate comments, like uh, you know, you got what you voted for kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
God hates MAGA. and they're blaming Trump, like, oh, well, you voted to cut, the weather service. It's like these guys got warnings. It happened in a matter of an hour and a half. And the warnings
Uh,
went out, but it was at 3 in the morning when this shit happened. You know?
yeah, and they also said that normally 2 people would be on staff, but because of the storm, they had up to 5 people covering the storm that night. So
Yeah, there were more people on staff than usual. Uh, but these folks don't know what they're talking about. They don't care. They don't bother to look it up. Shit, a pediatrician in Texas got fired for she said, got yeah, get what they deserved or get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. Uh, how many children died in this thing? And she's basically like, good, it happened. It's like, well, I know as a fact I'm not bringing my kid to that pediatrician who's happy that children died.
yeah,
It's just you ever heard this dude Destiny?
no,
No, dyes his hair blue. He's a big deal, left wing influencer, I guess is what they call these folks now.
yeah, they do.
Oh my God, the shit he said, dude. I don't even want to repeat it, but he's been saying some real nasty shit lately in general, but like actually cheering for more deaths. It's like, what the fuck's the matter with you, dude?
Right.
To the point, even Brian Stelter, Mr. Potato Head himself, said that with all the media warnings that have been going out lately about how everything's the end of the world,
Yeah.
it's the end of our democracy. Thousands will die, millions will die. That nobody listens to these warnings
No.
anymore because they're bullshit. So he even says like that we're dealing with warning fatigue, that people may well have looked at the warnings like, yeah, whatever. Okay, millions are gonna die. All right, whatever. And just went back to bed.
Right.
So I don't know. Nothing's gonna change, but
Well, I mean, it couldn't have happened at a worse time. 4 o'clock in the morning, everybody was asleep, out in the middle of nowhere. So
yeah. I remember I read somewhere someone's like, well, they didn't install like flood warning sirens. Like I've never heard of a flood warning siren. It doesn't mean they don't exist. But even if they went off at 3 in the morning, you could be able to get up, recognize what's going on,
no,
hope it's loud enough to get into your house and wake up your whole family, get your family up, get them out before the flood comes through.
no,
Oh, by the way, all those children that died were at a
they were
Christian
camp.
camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Terrible, terrible story.
Oh yeah.
Well, the Trump admin has come out and challenged the initial reports coming out about the Iran strikes, and he did that right away. But now they're saying that it looks like that missing year. Not only was the damage way more extensive than people thought it was when they were talking trash,
Uh,
even Iran came out and was like, "Yeah, no, they're pretty messed up." And now they think all that missing uranium is trapped down inside of these refineries. And this is what got me a UN watchdog for the nuclear programs or whatever.
yeah.
The chief, I guess, said Iran could begin enriching again in a matter of months. Like, well, obviously they could just build it again.
Right.
Like, it's not like the technology, the knowledge goes away. You just lost the equipment,
Yeah.
and they'll just build another one, but then blow it up again. I guess. I don't know why they're gonna bury this thing a freaking mile and a half deep next time. Oh shoot! I stumbled across this next article once. Haven't seen it anywhere else. Looks like the Houthis are at it again in the Red Sea. We're not sure because they haven't claimed credit for it yet,
Uh-huh.
but it takes them a couple weeks usually before they take credit. But a ship was attacked by multiple vessels. It was hit with like RPGs, and the crew abandoned ship. They
Yeah.
stopped after Trump blew up a bunch of Houthis, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Last time.
Hmm. You sure did.
All right. Your favorite country, Brian. Tell me what's going on in North Korea, or just happened in North Korea, rather.
6 Americans were detained in South Korea for trying to send rice and Bibles to North Korea. I thought we talked about this.
This does sound familiar. It's entirely possible it was left in leftovers last time, and we were just
Hammered.
15 beers deep. Yeah. Well, check this out, dude. Congo and Rwanda have come to a peace agreement with Trump leading the way, getting them to put down their weapons.
Right.
And this is they put him up for a peace prize as well. And this is the third one.
No, none of them are going to happen.
No, of course not, because Trump's actually ending wars and not blowing kids up.
Right.
But like, this is crazy. That's three in what, like a month
Yeah.
nominations for the peace prize. Because that's how many wars does this man need to end? Because he stopped what was going on with Israel and Iran. He stopped Pakistan and India and Congo and Rwanda.
Yep.
And they're like, it was hilarious because as soon as he dropped bombs in Iran, I hear the left screaming, "Oh, I thought he was the no wars president." It's like, okay, well, that's already over as soon as he dropped the bombs,
Right.
and he ended 3 wars.
Yeah.
So it's like, is this what you voted for? Yes, yes, it is. You know what? I'm gonna be 100% honest. No, he went above and beyond. Okay, because Congo, Rwanda has been going on almost my entire life.
Right.
Jeez, man. And then the Rwandan president, I can't remember her name, came to the States and like gave a statement about it, how she nominated him for the Peace Prize. It was crazy, dude. Oh yeah. There you go. They the next ones about the Peace Prizes, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh about war. He has not managed to end this Ukraine-Russia war.
And Ukraine actually withdrew from the anti-personnel mine ban treaty.
Yeah, I thought anti-personnel mines were a war crime now.
Well, if you remember the treaty, probably. Since they're not a member of
Well,
the treaty, they can put some mines down.
well, I thought it was like a whole worldwide thing because there's still active landmines in France. Every now and then you hear about someone blowing a leg off or something.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, Ukraine also dropped US made cluster bombs, which is also a war crime because they're not guided. They just, carpet bomb a city. So, let's keep supporting Ukraine by helping them commit more and more war crimes, I suppose. By the way, did you see that we're sending them more weapons after Palestine? Was it the Palestinians that blew up the weapons we were sending to Ukraine? Somebody did. We had a whole shipment of weapons going to Ukraine for this war, and they got destroyed by one of these factions. I thought it was Palestine, but it might have been Hamas or God knows who. So we're sending them another load of weapons. It's like, dear God, how much?
Well, we're also halting key weapons from going there, and the pundits think that's a sign of weakening support for Kyiv.
Yeah, I don't know what key weapons means. Is that like guided missiles or Patriot missiles or what? Or we just sending them ammunition and landmines, I guess.
We stopped sending them air defense interceptors and other weapons.
All right, so no more Patriot missiles.
Yeah, I gotta subscribe to read the rest of the article. So
Yeah, that's always fun. Those anti missile weapons, the Patriot missiles are insanely expensive because they're way more complex than just a standard missile. You have to pick off a missile moving at what, Mark 4?
Yeah.
And they tend to fire more than one at a time in case they don't hit it.
Yep.
All right. So Canada was talking all that trash, right? About this quote trade war, and their dude got elected over this. And Trump was pissed off in particular lately about this digital service tax. And I'm not sure exactly what that means. I'm not sure what
they were trying to put a tax on all the Facebook, all of that shit.
Does that count as like Netflix too?
Probably.
Interesting. Yeah, and it was supposed to be this big honking tax, and Canada gave in. And they have restarted the trade talks after they dropped out of the trade talks over this digital service tax.
Yeah.
I I love the Canadians in general, but I got a feeling a lot of these folks have no idea what's really going on with Trump. Just like the left wing here has no idea what's really happening. They just hate him no matter what.
Right.
I mean, they compare him to Hitler. I'm like, they're saying Alcatraz is a concentration camp. I'm like, do you guys know what a concentration camp is?
No.
Like, no. And yeah, we're not executing these people, you know. Shoot, we're actually giving them more due process they're entitled to. But you can just keep screaming Constitution without ever actually reading the damn thing, right?
Right.
Anyway, speaking of these illegal immigrants, what is going on in general, man? What's new in the world of
Well, apparently
illegal
some
aliens?
Florida lawmakers were denied access to Alligator Alcatraz. If I had
Yeah,
to
they
guess,
claimed.
they were probably Democrat representatives.
Well, they just showed up without advance notice and like, oh,
Uh,
we're entitled to come in here because we're Congress people.
no, you're not.
Well, and the detention center was like, yeah, but you're Florida Congress people, not
Mm.
federal, and this is a federal detention center. You don't get to just walk in like 2 days after the thing opens and look around.
Right.
I'm like, well, Trump did. It's like he's the president of the United States,
Yeah.
federal. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they threw their shit fit. And they knew they weren't gonna get in. It was a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So Kilmar Abrego Garcia was claiming that he was being tortured in El Salvador.
Uh-huh.
Did you see this video?
No, I didn't.
Oh, he's sitting in a nice big comfy bed with headphones on and playing Xbox. Like that sounds like torture to me.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute, they're feeding you what you play video games?
That's not torture at all. He needs to go to Alcatraz Alligator.
Looks like he's going back to El Salvador soon enough. So, how much money did we waste, Democrats, bringing him back to try him for a crime that we didn't need to even try him for because he was already out of the country, just to send him back?
Right.
But again, it's not this. What is the Democrat platform, dude? Like, do they actually have anything to stand on, or is it just
No.
Orange Man bad?
Yeah, just Orange Man bad.
And this is what's getting me, dude. I'm seeing it all over social media. It's all I see is Trump's evil. He's the devil. He's committing treason. I'm like, okay, first of all, you guys don't know what treason means. Okay, we're not at war, so it's not treason. If anything, it'd be sedition.
Yeah.
Second of all, everything he's doing is he's actually enforcing laws already on the books.
Yeah, I don't post a lot of political stuff on my personal Facebook page, but when I start getting the Orange Man bad posts from friends, I just snooze them for 30 days. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, I respond back with something explaining why they're wrong, and then watch them lose their mind. And I'll share like the actual law. Like here's the actual link straight to where it's written down.
Yeah,
And they go nuts. Like, ah, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it does matter, dude. If you don't like the law, you change it. You don't just violate it.
right.
Just like when they were all upset that he used that 100-year-old law or whatever. Like it's a 100-year-old law. That's ridiculous. Like, yeah, murder's like a 2,000-year-old law. We should just throw that one in the trash because it's old. It's and I don't mind actually making Congress sit down every 5 years to review each law
Right.
and saying, yeah, we're keeping it or no, we're getting rid of it. Just like they should do with the budget, but they don't.
No, we haven't had a real budget in the country in probably 15 years.
Last time I can think of, okay, oh, did Obama sign an actual budget or did he just sign a continuing resolution every time? I don't know. I know Clinton actually had a budget that was supposed to balance out within 10 years, but that got blown up right away.
They always do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bush came next, and Bush loved to blow stuff up, didn't he?
The last regular budget passed by U.S. Congress was likely 2007, 2008. Since then, Congress relied on continuing resolutions to temporarily fund the government rather than pass a comprehensive annual budget. That's what
So
AI has to say.
0708. Who was that? Was that
Uh,
Obama? Like his first year in office? I don't know. No, that couldn't be right. Well, I don't, geez, I keep forgetting that we had this is the second Trump term with a Biden in the middle. Uh, anyway, back on topic. Uh, this I think it's in Los Angeles. This business owner's son threw a shit fit and is trying to sue ICE, saying they
Bill
violated
Clinton, you
his.
were right.
Boom! Look at that. Uh, he's upset that ICE walked right past him, threw an employees only sign to collect some of these migrants. He's saying that his rights were violated. It's like, what rights were violated? Like you're harboring criminals,
Yeah.
and you yourself are committing a crime by employing these people, knowing that they're not here legally, which I think everyone keeps forgetting. Just like I keep hearing how they're paying taxes. I'm like, how are they paying taxes without a social security number or a work ID number? Like, whose identification did they steal?
Yeah, somebody's paying. They're paying taxes under somebody's name, but not their own. If they're paying taxes at all, odds are they're not paying taxes though.
Yeah, they're probably getting paid under the table. So that means the employer is not paying taxes for these employees either.
Right.
And we found that one was a chicken or beef processing plant or whatever it was last week we talked about when there were like 300 people had stolen identities to work. It's like, yeah, okay, that's wonderful for these people that are now going to go try to take out a loan and their credit is destroyed because someone stole their identity, you know?
Uh-huh.
All right. So a judge tried to block Trump from sending these migrants to South Sudan, the
Yep.
third party thing, which really grinds my gears because the Supreme Court already came out and said he could do it.
Right, but they don't care.
No, but that eventually got cleared up. And here's what's hilarious. Did you see this shit floating around the internet about how Trump was dumping migrants out of cargo planes into the ocean in
Yes, I
shackles?
heard about it on one of those shows I listened to. It's insane.
Oh my God, these folks like 4 migrants washed up in Spain. Spain's claiming these are Algerian migrants, you know, and like, what kind of migrant wears shackles? Like the kind that's a slave? uh, and then they point at this plane flight that was supposed to go to South Sudan, and they show you the radar of it, and it's like it never made it to South Sudan. Sudan said they never showed up. So yeah, they stopped off in Djibouti at the American Air Base and held the people there until this got cleared up. And check this out. After it got cleared up, the planes took off from Djibouti
Uh-huh.
and flew them to South Sudan and dropped them off. These folks will find anything. They'll believe the most crazy shit because
Yeah.
they hate Trump so much. So you really think he's opening up the cargo bay door in an aircraft and throwing
No.
people out the back of it?
Uh-uh.
And that's the crazy thing is a lot of people are like, I totally believe that. It's like, well, you're fucking nuts.
Right.
What kind of person flying that aircraft or operating the aircraft would do that?
Nobody's
that's
right mind.
yeah, that's when you say unlawful order, I'm not doing it, right?
Right, exactly.
Because you're still gonna go to prison for murder.
Yeah. Whether it was an order or not, you're going to prison.
Well, it's an unlawful order. It's against law to follow it, right?
Yep.
Just like on the ship in the Navy, if your captain told you to execute somebody and you did it, you'd go to prison for murder, and you know you would.
Yep.
Yeah. It's your duty to not follow an unlawful order, which I'm sure I've told this story before, but the skipper wanted me to do some ship alts once, ship modifications.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I just go do it. And I was like, sir, I need paperwork out the ass to do this. Like, I need all sorts of stuff signed off from all sorts of people. He's like, I'm your captain. You're going to do what I say. It's like, sir, this is an unlawful order. This is illegal. I cannot do this. And my chief was like, just do it. And then finally, the XO was like, no, we'll go through the proper steps to get the paperwork done so we can put it in a freaking TV rack in your berthing or whatever the hell dumb shit he wanted done, you know? I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember he wanted me to like cut a hole in the ship and do something weird, and I was like, you mean compromise the watertight integrity of a warship? That sounds awesome. All right. So on Tuesday, um, last Tuesday, I think, I'm not sure. Hold on. Maybe it was Monday. I don't know. Let me check the date on this. Oh, I hate these stupid. What have happened to actual journalism, man? These are all like opinion articles with some facts sprinkled in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So it was last Tuesday, I guess. There was this protest, sick of Trump, sick of ICE. All of these liberals that were like, hardcore, we hate all this stuff, took the day off work, just went on strike for one day and was supposed to cripple the entire country. Did you even
Because
notice?
nah.
I didn't even notice until after I read about it. I was like, oh, so either no one cares because no one noticed, or you don't do that much to help this country run as it runs anyway. You know, I thought it was kind of funny. Uh, U.S. appeals court has said Texas may not enforce their own migrant laws anymore because Texas was told they can't enforce federal law.
Right.
So they went and passed their own law saying it was against the law to enter Texas from a foreign nation. I was like, oh, all right, that's one way around it. And yeah, a court came around. It's like you can't do that. That's kind of the same thing, and it's clear what you're
Yeah.
doing. I want to know if this goes anywhere, like if it gets picked up by a higher court or not. Uh, I don't know. A higher court might be like, no, Texas can have their own laws. That it's not a federal law if they make their own law. Just like West Virginia has cocaine illegal, right?
Yeah.
So doesn't the federal government. And West Virginia could still arrest you and charge you for cocaine possession. And that's what I'm wondering if Texas is going to pursue that avenue, saying like, so wait a minute, like states can't enforce like drug laws anymore because it's federal.
Mm-hmm.
I got a feeling Texas is going to drop it because that's what the Republicans do. But Trump, the Trump side, the Republicans, the MAGA crowd has had some luck lately in the courts because everything came to a head recently.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is what I was talking about the South Sudan. There were 8 people that were deported there. Uh, it sucks to be them. South Sudan is a war torn area. $330 is the average, is the GDP, like the per capita
That's
income.
annual.
Yes. $330 a year the average person makes in South
I
Sudan.
make that double in a week.
I would hope so. I mean, if you're not bringing in $1,000 a week, dude, that means you're making less than $52,000 a year. Now, depending on where you live, obviously, uh, that could well be enough to get by, especially if you already own your own home, for example.
Right.
But if you're paying mortgage, car payments, oof, that's tough.
Yeah.
Shoot, when I was getting $1,400 every other week in the Navy as a E3, I think, E4, I was living on base and on the ship. I was like, damn, no, I can't afford to buy a house. You kidding me?
Right.
So, you familiar with Julio Chavez Jr.,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
the boxer?
Yeah.
He's getting deported for smuggling people and weapons across the border.
And he's got a outstanding charge against him in Mexico too. So
Yeah. So was it Shine Bomb or whatever? Uh, the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum. Such a Hispanic name, right? Sheinbaum. It's funny. I asked the wife, it's like, all right, what country do you think Sheinbaum is the leader of? And I was like, heads up, it's not Israel. She goes, oh damn. She's like, I don't know, maybe Poland. I was like, Mexico. She's like, what?
Yep.
What? Oh, speaking of Mexico, dude, the Mexican citizens are pissed off. Not just about the tourists, which is enough. They're actually pissed off about the over tourism in Mexico,
Uh-huh.
but they're also getting angry at the United States citizens migrating to Mexico, which I'm getting a
I don't know
giggle out
how.
of.
I mean, they should like it because it's money coming into the country, and American citizens are not allowed to buy property in Mexico. So you're renting the whole time you're
It's
there.
driving up rent prices because now they're competing against
Ah,
American citizens.
okay.
They're losing jobs to America. All the same arguments that Americans here are making about.
Uh-huh.
But it makes me laugh on that one because it's like, huh, good for you guys, right?
Yeah.
And these folks went to Mexico to get away from the United States while saying we should let all these people in the United States because it's so great. So then why did you go to Mexico? You know?
Well, my Social Security goes a whole lot farther in Mexico than it does in the U.S.
Well, yeah, well, especially if you go to like Mexico, not Mexico City or
Yeah. If you, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Don't move to the
Cozumel or
city.
Cancun.
Right.
Oh,
I
but
could
yeah,
live like
there's
a king in Thailand.
yeah, yeah, you could. Uh, just stay away from the lady boys.
Well, yeah.
But
I
you got to
don't
do
need,
that here in the States now too, anyway, right?
yeah. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm still married.
Yeah, I've heard some people have picked up some weird blood diseases in Thailand.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Also, what's a weird like hepatitis and stuff like that. But I can't imagine go. Oh shoot, what, was it The Hangover or Hangover 2 where the
Oh, yeah.
dude got drilled by the transgender in Thailand?
Probably
Yeah,
two.
yeah. I came in you. You come on the floor. I was like, oh god. Yeah, the first one was in
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Yeah, the second one they went to a wedding in like Thailand. Funny movies. Do
Yep.
not have your children on when you watch them, though.
No, they're not kid friendly.
Oh God, no. Oh, when Mike Tyson knocked him out, it was to a Genesis song.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. There's a jungle cat in the bathroom. All right. All right. Well, we've had some again concerning this migration thing. These protests are getting way beyond the scope of protest. Several in custody in North Texas after a cop got shot through the neck. Uh, oof, oh my goodness. And he managed to be airlifted and survive. I just crazy shit. Uh, I don't know all the details. Not everything has come out yet. But another case happened in Texas. They were firing fireworks at a ICE detention facility. And when the cops came out or ICE came out to like confront him, like, hey, knock it off. Dude, the rifle opened fire. Like this was like a pre-orchestrated ambush.
Yeah, it
And
was.
yeah, 10 people have been arrested. They're facing attempted murder charges, all sorts of crazy charges now. They
I
get in the
think
book.
people forget that there's not a Democrat in charge of the president and the DOJ right now. We're back to having laws mean things. Consequences have actions have consequences.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dude. I've been seeing a lot of people getting released after they should definitely be charged, you know? Meanwhile, we had when the Democrats chased down people from January 6th and held them for like 3 years without a trial, you know? And it's frustrating as fuck, dude. Like the Republicans are not enforcing the laws like they should. They're waiting for cops to be shot at for something to happen. And it's ridiculous. I mean, had this happened in another state, shoot, in Salt Lake City, Utah, when that dude shot into a crowd, the dude who got shot was the one arrested. Luckily, they released him. But this is the kind of crap we're getting, you know? Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, oh, he agitated them. Yeah, you burning flags and tell me I'm going to burn in hell. And best part is the dude they shot, was on their side. He was there with a gun just like someone else to make sure things didn't get out of control, and people started shooting at him.
Right.
And that other dude died. The guy who actually shot at him and killed the other guy didn't get arrested because they didn't even bother getting his freaking name.
No, you don't need no names.
For the love of God. Oh, hey, remember that anti-ICE leader in Los Angeles that was handing out riot gear to the quote protesters a little while ago?
Yeah, I think so. Is he the
Yeah,
one that pre-programmed where the cement blocks should be put to?
possibly, I don't know, but he was handing out like riot shields, gas masks, and all sorts of stuff. Excuse me. He's been indicted on conspiracy charges because it's clear that he was trying to help people fight the police.
Right. That's a convert. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. The DOJ.
Finally getting on it, yes.
Yeah.
It took them long enough, but they shoot. That senator, was it Padilla? Should have been charged. What happened with Al Green when he was supposed to be
Nothing.
when he was supposed to be getting censured?
Censor's nothing.
Yes, but they wouldn't even let him do that. They started singing "We Will Overcome,"
Right.
and Johnson's like, "Yeah, whatever. We're just going home." I'm like, "Oh, come on! At least give him a talking to, like you're supposed to, you know?"
Yeah, give him a stern talking to.
Oh, that guy's Al Green's a boob, though. Like waving his cane, screaming, filing impeachment charges that got dropped right away. His own party was like, "What are you doing? You're gonna make us look dumb for a third time screwing this up."
Yeah.
Yeah, and now the Dems once again, uh, they're saying it's Trump's fault that this violence is happening. And now, check this out. Did you see this report come out? A whole bunch of Democrat lawmakers have come out and saying their constituents are telling them to basically go get shot to make it visible because we need blood to make this point.
Right.
And all I could think of right away was, who's supposed to be the peaceful people here? And then my next thought was, how do you get shot by a cop? Like, what do you need to do for a cop to shoot at you? Typically speaking, let's assume
You
you're not one
gotta
of the
act aggressively. You gotta
believe their
fulfill
life is in
the
danger.
triangle.
Yeah, they have to think their life is in danger. You have to threaten the cop's life
Yes.
in a manner they believe it to be true. So what, you're saying go draw a weapon on these guys, start pounding on these guys?
Yeah.
I guess we could ask Congresswoman McIver, right? She was the one who actually was attacking the ICE agents or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But dear God, dude, like, I'm telling you, man, it's time for you to own a firearm, even if you only take it to the range once every 6 months just to dust it off. I know guns ain't particularly cheap, but like a Mossberg 500, it's a 12 gauge pump action shotgun, $500. That's on the say more expensive. You can spend a lot more money. That's on the
Right.
more expensive end of affordable.
Uh,
But you can get a handgun for a couple $100, especially if you go to one of these gun shows in Virginia, because they have mad discounts and they do a background check on the spot. And you know as well as I, there are plenty of crazy nut job lefties in Virginia.
oh yeah.
Granted, most of them live up north, but there's plenty of them sprinkled out where you live too, I'm sure, right? Protesting
Oh
in
yeah.
the streets.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, you don't see it really around here, but on the streets. But yeah, there's whack jobs.
I bet if you head down Mercury Boulevard, down by was it Blue Angel, Blue Horseshoe Tattoos?
Yeah.
That's where you find a little bit of money in these rich, what we call them offals, affluent white female urban liberals. And that's another point is these folks are calling for other people to be violent, just like you
But
see
they're not doing
online.
it themselves.
Exactly. These are the same people that are willing to vote to send you to war and die, but won't do it themselves. These are the people online. Like, if I come across someone with a MAGA hat, I'm going to go to prison. It's like, no, you won't, bitch. You're going to mumble under your breath and be pissed off and do nothing, and you know it. At most, you'll get up and cuss him out until he stands up, you know? Jeez. Like I don't expect anything like that to happen where I live, especially me being as rural as I am. I got my guns because I one, I like to own guns. I like to shoot, and two, like we just had a bear issue coming through our yard.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna be caught out back with a freaking baseball bat trying to protect myself from a bear. Uh, oh yeah, the we definitely talked about the guy who killed the firefighters, right?
I don't
Wow.
think so. I think this happened since our last show.
All right. Wow. This I
This was
believe
like an
he's
ambush type thing, where they called the fire department out, and then it was open season on fire department, the firefighters.
yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, actually. It was in Idaho. I can't remember. It's in the next article. Him and his father all did the same job. And this kid, Wes Rowley, I don't usually like saying their names. He's 20 years old. Tried to be a firefighter and got rejected.
Right.
And if that's enough reason for you to start killing firefighters, jeez. I don't know, man. Like I generally disagree with the death penalty, but like if you're shooting first responders that are there to save lives, we need something more than 20 years in prison, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, there
Maybe
should be
not.
whole new laws for that shit. Because
Yeah, you shooting EMTs, shooting firefighters, uh, you shoot the cops who are there to, save the old lady who's being beaten up by a mugger.
right.
There should be a serious penalty for that kind of stuff. Like the rest of your life in prison,
hmm
or at least like 40 years.
And
But
this guy was only 20 years old. How much do you hate the world
at
as a
20,
20 years old that you're going to start shooting firefighters?
wow. I could say a lot of these folks at 20 that hate the world is because they've been listening to the news and everyone else screaming about how everything is Satan and not Satan, Hitler.
Yeah.
And they believe it because they don't know any better. It's like, dude, go to any of these other countries literally on the
Yeah.
planet and have a
Yeah.
look around.
Right. We got it really good here in the U.S. because
Well,
we both know because we've been around the world. So,
yes. Well, shoot, I remember one of these English actors was saying how draconian the abortion laws in the United States are. And I was like, you can get an abort,
uh,
you can get abortion more easily and further along in your pregnancy in the United States than in Great Britain.
yeah. Oh, definitely.
But they're telling us how terrible it is here. Like, what, bitch, do you know
Yeah.
where you are from? You know? But
Yeah.
no, she's been in this country so
And
fucking
then
long.
everybody freaked out when the Supreme Court got rid of Roe v. Wade. And the statistics actually show that there's more abortions happening now after that because it's a states' rights issue now. So the states get to choose what they want to do. And that's
I
where it
just
should
like
have
to,
been in the beginning.
yes, I'd like to point out once again, Roe v. Wade was never actually overturned. It was a separate decision. It was because it didn't, Roe v. Wade covered a lot of stuff, but even Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who wrote the opinion,
That it was a
uh,
bad opinion.
said it was a bad decision. It's supposed to be a band-aid that it's going to have to be fixed in the long run. And it's going to get overturned sooner or later.
Yeah, it only took like how many years?
Uh, I don't know, when was it passed? Ginsburg was 1,000
I,
anyway, right?
I think it was passed in the 70s.
I think so. I wanted to say 70s. Like, was she really on the court for like 50 years?
Yeah, she was.
Oh my God. Uh,
And she's too stubborn to retire. I want to make a prediction since we're on Supreme Court briefly.
sure.
I think that you're going to see at least one Republican leaning Supreme Court justice step down while Trump's in office.
Yeah. It's either going to be Alito or Roberts, right?
I was thinking Clarence Thomas. I think he's the oldest one on there right now.
Yeah, maybe that's what I meant was Thomas, not Roberts. Alito is almost as old as him.
Okay. That's why I'm saying one, maybe two. If they're smart, they'll go ahead and, step down and, enjoy the rest of their lives and not be a Ruth Bader Ginsburg type person, that says they're going to die in the court.
Yeah, for real. At that point, wouldn't you just have your feet in the sand on the beach with a margarita in your hand?
Exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Instead, you're having to argue with Jumanji Brown Jackson.
And you're not like there's no pension, I guarantee they get a healthy pension, for doing so much time on the Supreme Court.
Oh, I bet you it's a full salary the rest of their lives, just like Congress or Senate or
Ugh,
President.
don't get me started.
Yeah, I know. How many? Okay, I would
Trump's
say
still
how many.
donating his salary every year.
Yeah, no one seems to give a shit about that. He's just doing this to make himself more rich. Like, well, why isn't he accepting his paycheck?
Exactly.
It's like, you do realize his net worth has gone down since he's been in office because he's not there running his businesses.
No, he's relying on his kids to do it, and they ain't doing so good.
I mean, they're doing all right, but they're not Donald Trump, right?
Right, exactly.
Dear God. Oh shit! I don't know how we didn't mention it. Oh, we'll get to it soon enough, I'm sure. This next case I saw everywhere. The
Oh
Coburger
yeah, it
kid.
popped up, and apparently this has been in works for a while, but nobody bothered to tell the families of the people that were murdered until the last minute. This plea deal came out so quick that the people weren't even allowed to show up. They didn't have time to show up in court to protest the plea deal.
Yeah, well, where was this? The Idaho
I
College.
know. Yeah. Uh-huh.
In 22, he pled guilty to 4 counts of first degree murder and 1 count of burglary.
Yeah, because he didn't want the
Uh,
death sentence.
yes, it took the death penalty off the table. Uh, he's been
But I
sentenced to
guarantee you,
four.
some of those parents were looking for the death penalty.
Yes, he's getting 4 consecutive life sentences and the max penalty of 10 years for the burglary count. Uh,
Yeah,
Gone
but what's a life
cows,
sentence these days? 20 years?
20 years. So 80 years, 90 years, he's looking at prison. That's the rest of
He'll
his
be
life.
good time. He'll be eligible for parole before he's dead.
I may, depending on the state, you may not get parole for a murder one charge. I'm not sure.
I don't know about Idaho. If I
But
had to guess,
Kate,
I would say no.
the
Idaho's probably a very conservative state.
yeah, they're probably going to keep him in prison. But the family of one of these victims, Kaylee Goncalves, I'm not sure how you pronounce this.
Uh-huh.
Uh, their family is returning all of the GoFundMe money that they're going to use. I don't even know what for, but this got dropped on them so quick that they didn't even get to get involved. So like, we're giving back all the money. It doesn't seem right. We're not going to be an evil bastard like this guy.
They don't want to be like the BLM movement and use the GoFundMe money for buying houses.
Or what's that kid's name that stabbed that other kid in the heart?
I
When
don't
his
even know.
family moved into $1 million house, bought a
Yeah.
couple Escalades, and now they're going with a public defender.
Oh yeah, we talked about this on a
Yeah,
previous. So I don't
yeah.
remember who it is, but I know when you said the public defender thing, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we need another. They already got like $800,000. Like, we need another $750,000. Like, for what? You're going to the public defender.
Yeah.
You're claiming your
You shouldn't even
indigence.
qualify for a public defender if you've raised $750,000.
The parents raised $750,000. The kid is poor,
How
and that is
how old is this kid? Because if
he was 17 when he allegedly killed this other kid.
so they're trying him as an adult, so that separates the incomes. If
Yep.
they didn't
And
try him as an adult, then the parents' money from the GoFundMe would be included in that, and he wouldn't be able to qualify for a public defender.
well, crazy thing is, they're trying him as an adult, but they've taken the death penalty off the table because he was 17 when he did it, or allegedly did it.
Doesn't
And it's
make
like,
any sense.
you guys are playing both sides of this thing, and it doesn't
Yeah,
seem fair, but it looks like that guy. Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know.
Carmelo Anthony.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. They went and moved out of that area because like everyone knows us, and they moved into $1 million house, bought 2 new Escalades.
right.
Like, oh yeah, well, yeah, we Poe. It's funny because I saw all sorts of stuff online about people like pissed off, like, you want more money? Where the hell did
Right.
all that money go? The trial hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
Uh, Oh, it says busted by Janine Pirro, but I don't think that's fair. It says Washington Post journalist busted by Janine Pirro for allegedly possessing child porn. She didn't really bust him. She just is doing the prosecution, right? Doesn't she? What's her official job now?
I don't know.
She got a job under Trump's administration. I can't remember what it was. Oh, check this out. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning Washington Post journalist. He was arrested and charged after authorities found kiddie porn on his work computer. There you go. DC U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro.
Oh yeah, she took over these ECU Attorney General because the person that they put in place didn't pass, scrutiny tests.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm still not sure what I think of Pirro. And don't get me wrong, most of my opinion of her comes from back when I used to watch cable news and she was on Fox News.
Uh-huh.
I do know that she was a judge. So, I mean,
She took a pay cut to go to the federal government.
yeah, she was making boku bucks on with her own show on Fox News.
Oh yeah. Same with Pete Hegseth.
Yes. Yes. And geez, is it
Uh,
Trump or Hegseth saying, let's send 2 Navy strike groups somewhere? Because that's just a massive show of force.
we don't have the ability to do that anymore.
For a little bit, and we'll get to that. It's under finance.
All right.
So, what do you think about Pam Bondi saying that there is no Epstein client list?
Well, we kind of predicted this from the get-go on this show.
Yes.
But when she came out and said, well, truckloads of documents are coming from the Southern District of New York to the FBI, and I'm going to go through all these things,
Well, they asked her about it on the news, and she's like, "It's on my desk."
Yeah, I remember that. We talked about
So,
it on the show, and
this
now
is
all of a sudden, oh no, there's no actual client list.
well, and to set everyone at
And the
ease.
conspiracy theorists are saying, well, Trump's on the list. That's why there's no list now. The list conveniently got lost.
Yeah, see, that blows my mind because if that was the case, they would have released that shit when Trump ran for office, wouldn't
Oh,
they?
yeah, they would have, definitely.
So bullshit on that one right there. I'll tell you what though, if there has to be some sort of list. It might not
There
have been an
has to
actual,
be. If you're,
might not have been a blackmail list, but he still had customers that paid him.
and
Look at
that's
his
why
bank
what's
accounts.
her face, died in prison, because of the list. His
Ghislaine Maxwell died.
the his assistant that was
Yeah,
like in charge of all of it.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, even if there wasn't an actual physical list of blackmailing, there was at least bank transfers.
There is no proof where this guy made his money from. He wasn't a superstar investor. He didn't inherit money from the family fortune.
Didn't
How
own
did
businesses.
How did Jeffrey Epstein get paid and become the rich person he was that he could own an island?
Pimping kids out.
Exactly.
But see, by the way, you see they released 12 hours of the footage showing that no one went in or out of the cell. So like
Of
everyone would,
course.
yeah. Did you notice? I don't know if you noticed. There's 2 camera angles they showed, right?
Okay.
Both cameras went down for 1 minute at the
That's all it
same
takes.
time.
That's all it takes.
And I was like, so wait, you're showing me this to ease my mind that he actually killed himself. All you did was raise more questions,
Yeah.
And I had someone say, "Oh, what can you get done in a minute?" I was like, that was the basis of how many movies that came out. Like, gone in 60 seconds, right? But you go in there with a noose, you snap his neck, right? Because his hyoid bone was broken, which doesn't happen with a choking, but
No.
rather a proper hanging, which
Yeah.
the sheets couldn't do. Then you slip the sheet noose you have tied around his neck, pull the sheet off his bed, and run out. You're out of there in under a minute.
Yeah, it
No
doesn't take
problem.
long.
And the best part is in that minute of the down footage, the trash can shifts to the side a little bit when the camera, and it's like, So you basically proving me that this guy didn't kill himself as you're telling me that he did.
Right.
Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, shame on both of you. Pam Bondi, shame on you. I am furious.
They're all part of the cover up now.
And I'll tell you why. Because was it Prince Andrew was the one that was initially accused by that young lady that just died, remember?
Yeah.
That's what broke this whole story. But I bet you there are Saudi princes. I bet there's CEOs and all sorts of stuff that would topple the economy if
Oh,
this all
yeah.
came out. And
That's
I
why
bet
they're
you
covering it all up.
that's my theory on the conspiracy going on.
Mm-hmm.
Might
Might
be
have to
something
break out the
else.
tinfoil hat soon.
I might have to, dude. Might have to actually get my hat back out. All right. Well, anyway, while I was speaking of raping and diddling kids, the Pope has asked that the American Catholic Conservative fund the Vatican.
What does that mean?
Apparently, they're not bringing in as much money as they used to, but it's still the richest country, richest country on the planet per capita, right? Because realistically, how many people live in the Vatican?
Not that many.
You know, and they got ancient artifacts down in their archives.
And I don't think it's in here, but I did see an article about the Pope where he's going back to the city in the mountains during the summer.
What are you referring to?
The summer sabbatical place that they go to where it's cooler
Uh,
than Rome
yeah.
in
All
the
right.
mountains. But the last Pope never went. He went there like once and never went back.
Yeah, I didn't like Francis that much, but I brought that up as soon as he came out. I was like,
Oh
oh, they
yeah,
picked a Jesuit. Oh no.
yeah. So we
I
gotta
haven't
wait and
seen it.
see what Pope Leo does.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything I don't like yet, but I haven't seen much from him, honestly. You
No,
know? So a judge, okay, and this big beautiful bill, I believe it was, they cut funding to Planned Parenthood, right?
right? Uh-huh.
Because you can say they're not using that money to fund abortion, but that just means they don't have to pay for this over here. So that means that money can go and fund abortion, right?
Right, exactly.
Federal judge came in and blocked the defunding, and I'm just like, how does a judge have
This
the
is
authority?
exactly what
The
the
Supreme Court
Supreme
just ruled
Court
on.
just said, that what level was this federal judge? A district court, circuit court? This is exactly what they're saying is you can't just
District judge.
willy-nilly district judges don't have the ability to willy-nilly do a nationwide injunction on the president of the United States.
And then they go and do it right away. And at what point do we say arrest these people? Because yeah, they do have some immunity when it comes to doing their jobs, but you can't just say fuck the Supreme Court,
Right.
you know? And how many people lost their shit over well, Trump didn't go get Abrego Garcia out of El Salvador, and that was a Supreme Court order. It's like, first of all, they said he needs to facilitate it. He doesn't get to just kidnap people out of foreign
No,
nations'
yeah,
custody.
well, that's up to El Salvador to decide if they want to send him back here or not.
And we got him back, but no
And
one
now he's
gave a
being
shit.
tried in Tennessee for human
Yeah,
trafficking.
but no one gave a shit when Biden twice violated Supreme Court orders concerning student loan debt.
Oh, it was more than twice. He did that
Well,
more
he
than
got
twice.
two separate times this court stepped in and said, you can't do that. And he's like, well, we're going to do it again. See how long it
Yeah,
takes him to catch up this time.
exactly. He
And he
he
said, what?
changed the rule. He tweaked them a little bit to like make him seem different.
Oh my goodness. And there's got to be something to the point when you say, even call it sedition. You're intentionally trying to
Yep.
fuck up the United States and change the rules on your own because you think you know better than everyone else.
Right.
All right. Well, it's funny because this title of this article here has little to do with the actual article in it. The
Of course
title
it
is
is. It's clickbait.
yes. The title says wealthy people will keep getting richer, says UBS, but Bain says they may try to hide it. You open it up and it actually says most people that are actually would count as wealthy. There we go. You open it up. Rich Americans are increasingly unaware their class is wealthy. And this is something I've said before was all these
What's their
folks.
definition of rich?
Wow. I think if depends on what you consider, but typically speaking, I'd say if you can afford to not work for 3 months, maybe, and survive no problem, I would call you wealthy
All right.
compared to the rest of the country, right?
I can't afford that, so I'm not rich.
I mean, in theory, we could here in this household, but that's because we're collecting disability from the VA. And that's enough to pay our mortgage. And I have probably 6 months of food stockpiled in the house.
Yeah, a
And
couple of Lunchables.
yes, 120 Lunchables. But like I got like 5 pork tenderloins in my freezer, like
Nice.
10 pounds of steak, 20 pounds of chicken, because shit happens and you can't get to town sometimes to buy food. So we're stocking up. We make a monthly trip to Walmart and refill as we eat it. And there's always, 6 to 8 months worth of food stocked up here. And I also have an 800-gallon propane tank that'll power my generator that run in my whole house. As long as I don't turn everything on at once, that'll last me a month probably, as long as I don't turn on what I need. Still wouldn't consider myself, quote, wealthy, but compared to the average person around here in West Virginia, we are very well off. But that's what I keep telling these folks that are like, oh, we need to tax the rich. We'll fix all the problems if we tax the rich. I'm like, bitch, you are the rich. Especially my friends up in Massachusetts saying tax the rich. I'm like, you do realize that means they're going to tax you. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm barely getting by. I'm like, dude, you're making 6 figures.
Right.
You're bringing in 100,000. Like, yeah, that's not that much money. I was like, oh my god. I was like, the average household income in West Virginia is like $36,000.
Right.
Are you prepared to split the difference and send it off to people in West Virginia? Like, well, no, that's not fair. I'm like, that's exactly what we're saying. And they just think they can tax Elon Musk and Zuckerberg more.
Right. That's not gonna work.
You could take every penny Elon Musk is worth, not just has, but is worth. That means sell off all of his stocks, which watches the stock market collapse, so all the rest of us lose money, right?
Right.
Most of that money would disappear in 2 months between people just saying, I'm taking a month off of work because I just got, a nice paycheck of $10,000. And then how many people are gonna smoke it or shoot it up?
Right.
Shit, I know as a fact, if someone just handed me $10,000-$20,000 right now, I would drink it and smoke it in my pot pipe. You know what I mean? I say that I would probably invest most of it, but I would definitely buy a bunch of beer with it and load up an entire brand new refrigerator with beer that's just going to sit there and wait. All right. Well, it looks like USAID is officially done.
Only hope.
Well, Rubio came out on X and it's like, it's official. We put the fork in it. Now it's just a matter of, sweeping up the floor, basically. Everyone that's still going to have a job is going to be rolled into another department of the federal government.
Well, Bush, Obama, and Bono are all crying about it.
Yeah, I don't know who Bono or Bono is.
Isn't it like the guy from YouTube?
Huh. Yeah, well, yeah. Actually, that might be exactly what they're talking about is Bono from YouTube. YouTube, you're right. It might be.
But this is a typical government agency that had grand intentions and then it went off the rails and just like was giving money to stupid shit. And it was definitely something that should.
Did it have grand intentions? Honestly, because everyone says U.S. aid as if it's foreign aid.
It's not.
It never was. USAID is like the United States Association of International Development. It's fucking nation building and overthrowing foreign governments. That's what they were used for. That's how we got revolutions to happen in foreign nations. For example, like you put Sesame Street in Iraq, and we would hope that the people would get upset with their leader because now they can read and communicate with each other, et cetera, et cetera.
It didn't work.
Well, no, but it worked in Korea, Vietnam, whole bunch of African nations, which I don't know if you saw this. This came out today. A bunch of these nation overthrowers that we used to have employed at USAID have come out and said that they are, and this was published by, I think, Axios, maybe The Guardian, that these folks now intend to use their skills to sabotage Trump.
Of course.
Like, they already have been. And
Right.
one of these dudes actually said, it's like, you should just let us play solitaire and kept paying us. Everything would be fine. I was like, wait a minute. You were already trying to do this anyway. At least now we're not paying you and giving you access to the resources to do it, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's one woman who actually let her name come out there, explained what she used to do, and said now she's doing something called US Democracy. It's nothing official. There's no official group, but she's showing people how to start organizing and grow to lead to a movement that will eventually lead to overthrowing the president. And I was like, go investigate her right away. Start your investigation with
Right.
her,
Yep.
and charge her with sedition for trying to overthrow the federal government.
Yep.
This sounds easy.
It does, but it doesn't happen.
No, because the Republicans never do shit, and you know it. And yes, they're starting to get involved, but it seems half the time they just say, screw it, after they make an arrest and let him go. And then the other half of the time, they don't even bother arresting him. You see this shit in I was in New York. It was a Long Island mayor.
No, just yet.
Oh my. He just quit, and everyone on the entire council, except for one dude, quit. They jacked up the cost of property taxes 87%.
That's
To
not
pay
gonna work.
Well, to pay for the $1.5 million anti-Semitism lawsuit they just lost. Long Island suburb, when almost all the town's top officials resigned on Thursday by raising property taxes 87%. Atlantic Beach's longtime mayor George Papaz, Republican, abruptly stepped down alongside Deputy Mayor Charles Hammerman, barely 2 months after causing a firestorm with a nearly 90% tax hike. And this is just days after a $1 million legal settlement with the Board of Trustees. It was because a Jewish organization tried to, they bought a Capital One bank, right, in 21.
Okay.
They got all the paperwork done, everyone. They wanted to turn it into a synagogue and community center. And
Okay.
the government has since then been doing everything they can to not let them open this thing up. So they got hit with that lawsuit, and they tried to tax the shit out of everyone to pay for it. And yeah, all except for one dude quit. There's gonna be one dude on the city council when the new government, which by now it's probably already been ushered in with an emergency election.
Right.
Oh my. And yes, this guy was a Republican, but I'll say a New York Republican
Right.
is, just like Schwarzenegger was a Republican, right? And he's
Yeah.
famous for screw your freedom. Okay. If you heard the term Shylock, what would you think?
I don't know.
Really? It's an anti-Jew slur used for ripping people off.
Okay. Like a
Eh,
like a shyster.
Yes. Trump dropped this word at a rally, and he, like, whoa, what are you doing? He's like, I've never heard it. I've only heard it used that way. I've only ever heard it used as like, shady business practices to rip you off. Ooh, that's I can't believe that didn't get bigger than it did, honestly. But they got other stuff that hate Trump about than stuff he actually said,
Right.
Okay. So we're taking ICBM money from the Air Force, right? To retrofit, revamp, whatever word you want to use, that jet that Trump got from Qatar. I don't like this. What do you think of this? Because they're saying it's extra missile money, like leftover missile money.
Is that a thing?
That's exactly. It's like, really? I've never heard of this. And we said this as soon as he got this jet from Qatar. I was like, you know, he can't just fly. They're gonna have to rip the whole thing apart from nose to tail to make sure there's no way that anyone's listening to what's going on, controlling it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They'll have a bomb installed. They can push a button to blow it up, right?
Yeah, I heard one of the problems with the new Air Force One is that Boeing's having a hard time keeping mechanics around to work on it and build it.
Really? Huh. They're not paying him enough, or
He didn't. I don't remember exactly, but
interesting. Yeah, but hasn't Boeing been working on this thing for like 10 years too?
Trump got the deal going when he was president last time. So
Okay, so coming up on 10 years or up to
yeah,
10 years.
but he also
Okay, so
locked them into, they don't have the ability to,
that's right. Up
do
the
price.
price.
Exactly. They're locked into whatever they agreed to then.
That's right. That's right. Because the other one they were taking way too long to even design one. And then he signed a deal. And it's like, no, this is what we're paying. That's it. But this leftover missile money, apparently enough to revamp this jet from Qatar. But we have to decommission the Nimitz early because we can't afford to keep it. Well,
I don't think it's early. The thing's 50
okay.
years
No, you're right.
old.
No, you're right. They're not decommissioning early. They are delaying the release of the newest ships because there's no money in the budget. So why don't we take this leftover missile money instead of fixing this damn jet and finish this next aircraft carrier?
Well, they're running into problems with the aircraft carriers with supply chain issues. It's not we don't have the money, it's that the supply chain's falling apart.
What, they're having trouble getting materials because of these
Hmm.
tariffs or something?
I don't even think it's the tariffs. I think because they're having trouble getting supplies for it.
Uh, See, that's the big issue I saw with the tariffs was if we could have said they're going to effect in 5 years, it would have given American companies time to ramp up production, Uh, like U.S. Steel, for example, which just recently merged with Nippon.
Well, it's not a true merger. They're just investing in U.S. Steel.
Well, I don't know what's going on, but I know my U.S. Steel stock disappeared, and I got uh, a wad of money put into my portfolio that I didn't even know was sitting. It was sitting there for weeks. I didn't know because I don't check on them all the time. My stocks.
Hmm.
Open it up, just have a quick look at what's going on. I was like, "Whoa, where did this money come from?" Which is always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized that my U.S. Steel stock was gone. I was like, "Wait a minute!" And then I was like, "Oh shit!" So I went and looked at Nippon, and Nippon was like a third the price per share of what the U.S. Steel was. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So I bought a handful. It's like $6 or $7 a share.
Hmm.
So I bought a handful of them, just like I'm not sure what's going to happen here. But I was genuinely frustrated that I thought if anything, it would have just automatically rolled into the other company, like when all the companies, I say all the companies, when like Verizon buys up a company, and like T-Mobile, for example, usually
Yeah.
you just all of a sudden own some Verizon.
Hmm.
Which I don't know, man. Is Verizon big enough to dump the stock
I don't
because they're
know.
gonna get busted up or not?
I
Or do I
don't
have to wait
think
for them to buy T-Mobile first?
Verizon's not buying T-Mobile.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they every 10 years or so they buy up all the other cell phone companies, and then the government comes in and it's like, nope, now you have six different companies again. That's where Bell and Atlantic and all these other companies popped out of last time. I don't know how much I care to talk about this Mamdani dude, but it is big news in general. Uh, he, we talked about how he wants to tax white neighborhoods more, right?
Yes, we did. Mhm.
Um,
You
that can't be legal.
no.
Jeez Louise. And New York. Oh yeah, the cops said they're gonna leave the job if Mamdani wins.
Yeah, because they're not going to have any support from them.
Well, not just that, they're all gonna get fired because he said he's gonna get rid of the police and have social workers.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, have fun dealing with the gang violence with social workers, right?
I think I saw an article where New York City didn't have any deaths on July 4th for the first time in a long time.
That would honestly surprise me. Uh, Mamdani also got busted with his application to Colombia, which
Oh, yeah.
got denied. He claimed to be African American to try to get
Well,
more
he
likely.
is.
He was born in Uganda, did not
I-
live in Uganda. He's Indian.
Elon Musk is African American.
Yes, he is. He was actually born and lived in Africa, though.
Okay.
Mamdani never actually lived in Africa. Like he was born there and spent like three. He was 3 when he left. And he was Indian anyway. It's not even like he has heritage in Africa. Like,
Well, he wanted to be like Pocahontas.
yeah, or Rachel Dolezal.
Yep.
And shoot, a video came out recently of him mocking the Jews on during oh my God, what's their winter solstice holiday with
Rosh
the
Hashanah.
menorah, Hanukkah,
Okay.
mocking him in Hanukkah, with goofy wig on, with the big curls down the side, lighting the menorah, dancing around like a fool, throwing a dreidel around.
I don't think you can get elected in New York without the Jewish vote.
That's why I got a feeling this video popped up again. And the funny thing is, this video, he's like, "Oh, that was a long time ago, dude. It was a year ago."
That's not a long time.
And there's another video of him making fun of like Kwanzaa or something. And I was like, "So you're gonna lose the Jewish and the black vote in New York?
Yep.
Good luck, right?" And now Trump's okay. They're saying Trump raised the possibility of stripping him of his citizenship.
That's not going to happen.
Well, technically it could. But the problem is, someone asked Trump about it, and he goes, we'll look into it. That's what Trump says to anything that he has never heard of. Because
Right.
he never dismisses anything out of hand, right? Well, apparently, Mamdani, in one of his rap videos, was supporting Hamas, and his paperwork to become a U.S. citizen. That was like a question: has he ever shown support for a terrorist organization? And he lied. And if you lie on citizenship paperwork, you can have your citizenship revoked. Well, he's already stripped that Chavez there, the boxer, was a citizen. He stripped him of his citizenship and he's deporting him.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. It's not going to happen because if Trump does this to someone who's right now could possibly be mayor, I can't imagine the riots of the stupid 20-somethings.
Right.
Oh, by the way, yeah, he wants to tax the wealthy, in particular the white people.
Hmm.
Does he know that
They're all going to move out of state.
yes, the one that move out of state. But two, does he know his mother's home in New York is worth $2.4 million?
Probably not.
So you do realize that you're going to be taxing yourself more. Like, does he know this? Does he
No.
care?
Probably not.
Or is he hoping just to be Kim Jong-un?
The man of the people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like you, except I don't poop because I'm, a god, you know? I think this next one might be about his Patrick Healy, assistant managing editor for Standards and Trust. The New York Times posted a lengthy thread on X, formerly Twitter. I love how they keep having to do formerly Twitter, explaining the newspaper's controversial story on mayoral candidate Zohan Ramdani's 2009 application to Columbia University. Okay. So that's just more of that. There's more detail, but we've been at this for an hour and a half already. Though, but it's raising backlash and a lot of shoot. Who was it? one of these guys was asked by, oh yeah, Mamdani himself was asked by Al Sharpton about that, and he just pivoted and refused to answer the question.
Of course.
Like, I was like, ugh. I don't like Al Sharpton because he's a
Blue.
moron. Yeah, but that guy's got a lot of pull, and he can rally people behind him. And if you're gonna claim to be black to try to get into school because because of the very thing that we're trying to do away with this DEI crap, then and that just proves it right there though. It's like you can just lie, just like Pocahontas, to try to get better
Well, the
access to
problem
stuff.
with all this is New York City does ranked choice voting.
Only in their primaries. The Democrat Party does in the primary, not for mayor.
You
I
looked it
went
up.
I went and looked this up because I was like, no one else has a chance in that case.
Well, that's what they're saying. It's like you got two independents running, you
Yeah,
got a Republican running, and then you got Mamdani.
yeah.
So,
And how many people are going to vote Democrat just because of the D next to his name in New York?
too many.
Yeah. And then anyone independent or even right leaning is going to split all of their votes amongst these three other people.
Right.
This is funny. The mayor of Dallas has declared Dallas a sanctuary city from socialism.
I don't even know what that means.
Same idea as sanctuary city for illegal migrants.
Well,
Come
he
here,
wants
we'll.
all the New Yorkers to move to Dallas.
That's what I said. I was like, dude, they're gonna bring their stupid ideology with them.
Bad idea.
But maybe he's looking to get all the rich people that are leaving New York to go to Dallas. Yeah, it's just don't bring your left wing politics with you, you know.
Hmm.
Which is something that was been an issue in Texas lately, anyway, hasn't it? People fleeing California, going to Texas, and turning these cities blue.
Well, luckily they're going to Houston and Austin. It's
Yeah.
crazy that the state capital of Texas is super blue.
Well, I think it's hilarious that these huge cities with tons of money in them keep voting to tax themselves more
Oh yeah.
and then
Rather than
complain.
cut, rather than cut
Well,
the budget, they just keep taxing everybody more and more.
and then they complain about the taxes. Like you literally voted for more tax.
Yeah.
Like, did you not look at what this guy like? He specifically said, "I'm going to raise taxes on this and this to pay for this and that."
Right.
And then like, hey, why'd you take 20% of my paycheck in
Hmm.
this state? Look at California,
Yep.
dude. California is looking to raise the minimum wage in hotels to $30 an hour by however much an hour each year leading up until the Olympics.
The hotels
J-
ain't gonna. There's not that big of a profit margin in hotels.
no, two huge hotel chains have already said they're going to pack up and leave. Uh, People have decided not to open hotels because of this.
Right.
It's like, no, it's like a 3% margin. And now you want me to pay these people $30 an hour to freaking change sheets. You know? Nothing against the folks that do the house, the what's the word I'm looking for here?
Housekeeper.
Yeah, the housekeeping that changes sheets, cleans up.
But there's a lot
30,
more employees than just that at the hotels.
yeah, you got people downstairs cleaning the laundry. You got people that vacuum the halls. You got people that cook the food, et cetera, et cetera. The person who stands at the front desk and checks you in.
Yep.
Come on. You expect these people to get paid as much as a welder?
Yeah.
Again, why is anyone take the risk to build the hotel if I can get paid as much to work in the hotel?
Exactly.
And that's something I still haven't heard a good answer from people on the left yet. People on the right will tell me, like, yeah, no, that sounds dumb. I wouldn't risk getting burned, falling 20 feet, being lit on fire if I could get paid just as much to make my lunch, you know? Yeah. On the topic of socialism,
Yep.
did you, I remember this picture of AOC came out a while ago of her in school, but now the
When
whole
she
story.
was, she's from the Bronx.
Well, she claims to be from the Bronx, and she's like, I'm a tough girl from the Bronx, and I'll kick your ass.
I thought she
Trump
went to.
up.
I thought she graduated from Westchester.
Yeah, she went to like a suburban white neighborhood that was worth a ton of money, and yeah, her tough, cool nickname AOC.
Uh,
That's new. She went by Sandy,
okay. Of
so she completely just redefined who she was
course she did.
to try to get this seat, and now she says the dumbest stuff, doesn't she?
She's run for senator now.
Well, that's what, yeah. And she starts saying like, "Oh, you can't do that." And it's like, "Well, that's what the law says." And then she sees the law. She goes, "Well, that's dumb." It's like you are a congresswoman.
Right. You should know this shit.
You write the laws. You vote on this stuff.
Yep.
Why do I know it better than you? Well, you don't. Oh my god. I'm just waiting for for real. Why isn't some Republican dude running against AOC on the
They've
Democrat
tried.
ticket?
Oh,
On the
on the
Democrat ticket.
then he wouldn't be Republican.
So what? He'd still have all the same opinions and views. He'd still vote the same way. And the people would probably support it as long as he had a D after his name.
Probably.
Oh my God. All right. Tom Tillis. He's the North Carolina senator.
Yep. He just voted against the big beautiful bill.
Yes, and because of that, he knows that Trump's going to get him.
Trump was going to primary you.
Yes, he's going to get primaried because of that. So he decided he's not going to seek re-election in 26.
Yep.
I saw someone that Lara Trump was considering running for that Senate seat.
Yeah. See. Yeah. She still is.
Isn't Lara? Isn't that a woman? No.
Yeah. It's his daughter.
Yeah. Okay. And I heard another name come up recently too, and I can't remember who it was. But yeah, he cited many facts, and oh Jesus Christ! Don't you love when you open an article and then you start reading it, and then the pictures load
Oh
and it
yeah.
jumps? He cited many factors, including a lack of bipartisanship in Washington, as reasons for his decision. This comes a day after he announced his opposition to President Trump's sweeping, big, beautiful bill. He specifically took issue with the bill's proposed reductions to health care programs. So yeah, he knows he can't possibly keep the seat, so obviously he's just not going to run and not lose, right?
Yep.
I have never heard of this guy before this, honestly, but I don't know all 100 senators. What is there? 346, 356 congressmen or something like that.
There's 100 senators and 436 congressmen.
436 Congress. Okay. You know what? I can't remember what this bombshell was. CNN. Oh, Jesus Christ. What did I just do? Even CNN was forced to admit Donald Trump is making history. Oh, yeah, whatever. There we go. Oh, Harry Enton. Why is Harry Enton on CNN surprised still every time he shows up with a poll?
Because he's an idiot.
Like he keeps bringing polls to CNN that show how Trump's actually being supported. As the anchors are like, everyone hates Trump. Blah, blah, we hate Trump. We should kill Trump. And it's like, actually, most Americans like him pretty much.
Yeah.
There we go. In an astonishing twist, CNN contributor Harry Enton shared the stats on live TV, revealing Trump had scored a whopping 63% approval from ratings just 5 months into his campaign, 10 points higher than in the same stage last term. And, doesn't sound 63% doesn't sound awesome on his own party, but it is, especially for Republicans.
Yeah.
There we go. What are we talking about here? It's history making. It's history making. So why don't we look back? We have all the Republican presidents going back the last 35, 36, 37 years. Sifting through the figures, Bush had 41 and 46. Bush had 43 and 59. Trump's first term was 53, but now it's 63.
Right.
Geez, he beats all other Republicans on board. And I was looking back even since Reagan, and get this, Donald Trump beat Ronald Reagan when it came to strongly approved 5 months in. And every time he comes out with these numbers, he's just shocked. Like even independents and Democrats like him more than the opposing party usually likes the president.
Right.
I remember recently he did one of these because everyone's like, "Oh, I regret my vote," but you were seeing probably either just a handful of guys or people that actually voted Democrat that are just trying to make it look like the Republicans hate him.
Right.
Anton came out and was like, actually, something like 84% of people would vote for Trump again if it happened. And he actually did crunch the numbers. It's like Trump would win again if we had the election today. And it just makes you wonder, how can CNN put these numbers out and then turn around and say, yeah, but everyone hates him?
Because nobody's paying attention to CNN.
But the anchors listen to him say this and then say, yeah, but everyone hates him.
Yeah, they're trying to deflect the numbers.
Oh my goodness. It's have you seen this Harry Enton guy lately? Like, have you been watching it all?
No.
Every week or so, he comes up with a new poll on CNN, and it's completely counteracts everything the Democrats and especially CNN has been saying.
That's why you can't trust polls, because I mean, you can, depending on
It's
the
a
questions
CNN
in the
poll.
polls, you can, push it to whatever direction you want it to go.
Yeah, but it's a CNN poll. If anything, they would be polling their own audience.
You would think.
And that's actually why I don't follow polls in general. I will look at not even aggregate anymore. I'll look at what the poll said one time, and then 2 weeks later, when they conduct the same poll, see how much it moved. Because like Rasmussen and Real Clear Politics, and all these different companies will come out with wildly different numbers. But you'll see that they all moved up 4 points or down 4 points typically. All right, anyway. CBS and Trump came to a settlement over the election interference thing concerning them altering the interview with Harris. Well, Trump got paid out. Oh, geez, how much was it? 8 figures. Oh my goodness. There you go. Paramount Global and CBS agreed on Tuesday to pay President Trump a sum that could reach north of $30 million to settle the president's election interference lawsuit against the network. He's getting $16 million up front to cover the legal fees and the cost of the case.
Yep.
And the money that he's getting from this is going to pay for his future presidential library and charitable causes, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. So it's not going to go indirectly into his pocket. He's just going to use it as another dig against the Democrat and the CBS and fund the library.
You paid for it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Now I think the only reason why Paramount made this payment,
they're trying to do a merger right now.
Yes, and there's no way that their shareholders will allow them to buy up CBS if they're in the middle of a massive lawsuit with the president of the United States.
Yep.
Geez, that's a lot of money to pay out to buy a company that just keeps getting busted for making shit up.
Yeah, it's like they're not learning anything. Yeah, ABC's the same way. I'm like, ABC keeps saying all kinds of crazy shit too.
Oh, The View. What was that, like 6 weeks in a row? We were talking about how The View had to come out and like retract something they said because it was completely made up.
I love it when they bring out the disclaimer. Oh, the lawyer said this. We can't really say this, but we're going to say it anyway.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah. Well, turns out this isn't true at all. We just kind of made it up,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but you already told all your viewers that this happened,
Yep.
And here we go. Why is the teachers union give a shit one way or the other about LGBTQ books in the
Because
classroom?
they're pushing an agenda.
But these people are just supposed to be teaching our kids.
They're not. They're pushing an agenda.
Yeah, and this is exactly what a lot of people were saying for a long time is that they're not teaching your kids, they're indoctrinating them.
Yes.
And it's like, well, what about sex ed? It's like teaching 5-year-olds how to have butt sex isn't sex ed. That's kink. Sex ed is reproduction. The sperm meets the ovum, gets embedded in the uterine lining, everything else is kink, not reproduction.
Yep.
And they're upset too that like they're told that they have to at least allow parents to opt their kids out of the LGBT stuff, and they're all offended by this. Like, what's this gonna cost to call every parent? Like, I don't know about you, but like when I was in school, I took home a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and my parents had to sign it for me to do sex ed.
Yeah. Me too.
That was as easy as it was. So what? $100 for the entire school for photocopies?
Right. If that back in the day.
Yeah. And now we can email it.
Yep.
But yeah, the teachers union is all up in arms about this, and it's like, I don't understand why you want to read how to suck a dick to my kid. Like that just doesn't sound right. Am I wrong about this?
No.
And I love watching these people like, well, kids should be able to read whatever the book they want. I was like, oh, cool. So we can put like Hustler in your fifth grader's classroom.
Right.
I'm like, well, no, that's different. I'm like, well, hold on. Here are the pictures in the book that you said's cool. Read this paragraph here. And they get all offended. Like, well, you're the one saying it should be in school. I was like, maybe in a high school library,
Right.
but not curriculum,
Exactly.
And definitely not elementary school. He's like, oh my God. What'd you learn in school today, Timmy? I learned how to give a rim job. What? Yeah, it really toss that salad. Yeah, one of these nut job Dems who's speaking of schools is saying the Republicans are only pro-life, so that these kids can grow up, go to school, and get shot.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know anyone who's ever like, yes, I want the kids to be born so that they can be shot by some wackadoo lefty or some transgender that hates Catholic school.
Right.
That's just the craziest shit comes out of these people's mouths. And they say, oh, they care about them being born, but they don't care about them after. I still don't want them to die.
No.
And yeah, I'm pro-life. I'm Catholic, and that's a human life. And you can say it's not a baby, it's a fetus. Fetus is Latin for new human. So okay. It's not a human. So what is it? Is it a frog? Is it a turtle? Is it a tree? No, I guess it's human DNA.
Yep.
But did you see any of this second dissent that Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote about the universal injunction thing?
No.
Oh,
I try to ignore her as much as possible.
oh my God, it was I read a couple pages of it. It was the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life.
Thank you, President Biden.
Well, she actually said, ... wait for it, ... and then like said something. It's like, this is like an official Supreme Court paper.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it looks like it was made by an AI that she had do for her instead of her own clerks. But 6 justices signed an opinion about her dissent.
Uh-huh.
And said, well, she's ignoring, and call her out by name, said she's ignoring 200 years of precedent and constitutional law and English common law. Like, at least Keegan, who wrote the initial actual real dissent, made a handful of actual arguments.
Okay.
But even Keegan signed the, hey, she's stupid papers.
Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you, Joe Biden. And well, it makes sense that she doesn't know what's going on or what any of this stuff is, because I mean, she, she doesn't know what a woman is, right?
No, couldn't. She couldn't answer that question in the confirmation here.
Oh my God. And I was like, you're supposed to be a Supreme Court justice and you can't tell me what a woman is. Oh, I'm not a biologist. Yeah, but how are you going to make decisions on women's rights if you don't know what a woman is? Anyway, anything in leftovers you want to talk about?
No.
Yeah, me neither, really. Joy Reid's convinced that Trump's going to stay in power forever.
Oh, brother.
Man, who
Why
the
would he
fuck is
do
Joy?
that?
Who's Joy Reid? Right? She's a nobody now. But
Yep. Let's talk about the TSA real quick.
yeah, all right.
Um, this was my biggest gripes of the illusion of security after 9/11, where everybody had to take their shoes off to go to security to fly on an airplane.
Now that was because of the sneaker bomber, right?
Yes, it was,
Okay.
and
Now, what did taking my shoes off do to ensure that it wasn't a bomb?
they could look at them better.
What, look for a fuse?
I guess I don't fucking know. I signed
I
up
can't
for a
have a lighter
TSA
anyway.
pre-check just so I wouldn't have to take my shoes off anymore. And now
But I couldn't bring a lighter on the plane anyway, so I'm gonna light the fuse on my sneaker bomb.
you gotta do friction.
Oh, two
Rub your
sticks.
shoes together, like Dorothy.
Oh my God. Yeah, click them. There's no place like kaboom. There's no place like kaboom. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it looks like they're getting rid of that, huh?
Finally, some common sense is happening in the TSA.
I don't fly much anyway.
I don't either anymore, but still, once or twice a year, it's nice to not have to take your shoes off.
Yeah, so are you gonna get rid of your priority check-in or whatever?
Well, I mean, it's good for 5 years, so. And there's other
Well,
things that nice about it. I don't have to take my laptop out of my bag. It's
which makes me
usually
laugh. Which
there's
makes
a
me laugh because
different.
if I was going to smuggle a bomb on board, wouldn't I pay the fee to not have you check my bag so I could bring a bomb on board?
Yeah,
I bet that was the argument they finally gave into. It was like, we're letting these people just walk through. So maybe,
yeah,
these people just paid to get the same service. All right, Brian, I think that's our show.
I think so.
Let's pinch this turd off.
All right, there will be new music someday.
Hopefully.